There's a growing demand for Montessori schools to extend into primary education, making possible a natural flow from the foundation years right up to the transition to a secondary school.
They've learned so much, done so much, and then they can just carry on with what they know. We're already following the child. We observe the child, we don't teach anything without knowing the child, without knowing where they're up to, where their talents lie, where their desires lie, and all the way through we nurture that, we follow that. Their time in the nursery is really important. That's where they learn independent work. They carry this on here in the elementary school because they need to be able to choose their work and know what they want to do for themselves. That's how we get the best out of them. We have the same respect for the child. So if we give them that same respect, they do the work when they want to do, have a drink when they want to have a drink, we'll get the best out of them.
Well, it's quite fun in this school because the teacher goes round to everybody, and if you make mistakes, she'll make sure you fix it and things like that.
It gives you the freedom to choose other pieces of work.
That's the whole point. They can do anything they want, but they just have to know that, and they have to have the confidence and encouragement to do that.
Once I explained what our school was like, they were like, how come I didn't go there? Your talents get kind of singled out here, and I think everybody should be given an equal opportunity to come to somewhere like this where you've got just so much diversity. The best primary school you could go to. Yeah, the memories are amazing.
Increasingly, state schools are turning to Montessori for a common sense approach to education.
We have 421 children in our school. We had a high staff turnover. I was the 7th head teacher in 6 years. There were huge skills gaps in many children. So we were sending children off to high school at 11, unable to read, unable to write properly. The reason I came to Montessori was that as a way of teaching, instinctively I know it's right. I think the real reason, or the impetus for starting Montessori in 2005, was a little boy called Jay, who was then 8.
I was called out to Jackson's Tip to collect Jay, who would run away. And when I got here, instead of just running further away from me, which he would often do, he turned around and said, "Miss Powell, look what I've got in here." And in his lunchbox, and I don't know what he'd done with his lunch, but in his lunchbox was a whole dollop of frog spawn, which we took inside. And I took him to one of my amazing teaching assistants and said, teach him about life cycles. It was only later on in the day when I thought Jay actually ran out of school so he could learn things, and that was a little bit scary for me. And I then thought the time was right because Jay was setting his own agenda and saying what he wanted to learn. So in 2005, Montessori started in nursery and reception. The biggest thing is our results have gone up. Children are much more skilled than they were before. Teachers are better teachers. But the best thing for me is that children have improved their socialised behaviour.
The introduction of Montessori has had a profound effect on the teaching staff as well.
They've been given a whole new lease of life as teachers, really, and they've been asked to challenge what they've been taught before as professionals, so that they have rethought their approach to children, rethought their approach to learning, and they have become better, more rounded teachers because of it. Montessori started out in an area not unlike Gorton, and she observed wild, chaotic behaviour from children who were perhaps not that well nurtured, certainly children who came from very economically poor backgrounds, and that's very similar to our profile of children and families. It means that it's kind of come home to its origins, if you like. So it might be seen as something that the middle class want to buy, but we're giving it for free because it's a child's entitlement to have the best education they can have, and that's what we hope we're delivering.
Training to be a Montessori teacher is different from mainstream teacher training. The emphasis in the Montessori approach is very much on the teacher's role as an observer and guide.
Our training is very practical in that from very early on, our trainees learn to use the Montessori teaching materials, which are then seen as the foundation of the child's learning. And we, of course, also teach them child development and observation because they need to understand why children learn in the way they do. And we also introduce teaching practice, so they have an opportunity to apply what they have learned in the college with children, because it is always different when the children are involved.
At Montessori Centre International, the UK's largest Montessori training organisation, a range of full and part-time courses are available, covering all levels from infant to primary. MCI's training centres are located all over the world and attract students from diverse backgrounds.
Before I started the course, I actually have a music degree.
I left school at 18 with A levels and went to university to get a degree in marketing communications.
I'm a chartered accountant, so I qualified with Ernst & Young, and then I've been in banking for over 10 years.
The reason that I chose this course was that I had been recommended by a friend who'd also studied, who I worked with.
Having completed the full-time early childhood course, I went straight in to do the infant toddler course.
The teachers at MCI have been completely supportive, and they're a real diverse bunch.
The support of the staff has been fantastic, and also the people that I've met have made some lifelong friends.
Learning Montessori from these people made this a really special place to work.
A common concern from parents is how their child will make the transition from a Montessori nursery or primary school to a traditional school.
I wasn't afraid to go up and ask for help from the teachers.
So you'll find it a lot easier making friends with all the older people.
The skills that a Montessori child develops go a long way to helping make that transition.
Everything here has helped me a lot, from growing up just generally, obviously high school, then sixth form. A lot of people tell when I say, oh, I've been to a Montessori, they go, oh, you can tell.
A Montessori education in your younger years, it really gives you independence and confidence as a person in your own right.
Montessori-educated children develop great powers of observation and concentration that enable them to work more effectively, regardless of where they continue their education. As long as the environment is stimulating, the Montessori child will flourish.
Besides the obvious that I went to Rainbow, it just was really never any question whether I was going to send them to Montessori.
Maria Montessori said, from the moment the child enters the children's house, each step in his education is seen as a progressive building block, ultimately forming the whole person in the emergence from childhood to adult. All focus is on the needs of the child. That approach is still at the heart of Montessori today, with motivated and knowledge-hungry children being offered a rich and stimulating environment, guided and encouraged by a highly trained observer. And that is the essence of what makes Montessori a great deal more than simply an alternative way of education. Whether you're thinking about your child attending a Montessori school, or considering training to become a Montessori teacher, or just interested in learning about the Montessori approach, you can find out more by clicking to www.montessori.org.uk.